I'm here to talk about wrist strength and flexibility today. So, first thing we want to think about when we're talking about wrist strength and flexibility is how we are placing our hands on the mat when we are doing anything bearing weight in our hands. So, tabletop, downward facing dog, handstand, arm balance, any of it. In order of importance, we place the hand, base of the pointer, base of the thumb or the inner wrist, base of the pinky, and then the outer wrist. So pointer, inner wrist, base of thumb, pinky, base, and then outer wrist. So you can try it, this little exercise first. You can bring the tips of your fingers together. So all thumb match up with thumb, pointer match up with pointer. Then you're going to roll along the knuckles of your hands. So from here to here. So with the fingertips together, bring the pinky, the base of the pinky together, then the ring finger, then the middle finger, then the pointer finger, then the base of the thumb, and then try to lift the base of the pinky, base of the ring finger, middle finger, pointer, thumb, and then just roll back the other way. So you're just rolling those parts of your fingers along each other. You see my fingertips are wanting to come apart. You're trying to keep them together and just move along the knuckles of the hands. So this is just sort of waking up the hands and reminding them what we want them to do. Okay, then bring together the base of all the knuckles, all 5 knuckles, and turn your hands over and see that you have a little space or gap between your wrists. So when you place the hands on the floor, I'll see if I can give you that view too. So when you place your hands on the floor and you're sort of suctioning your hands in like that, there should almost be like a hollow here. And the wrist might be touching, but it should be light and the fingers should be heavy. I'm going to tilt this down and get into our wrist exercises. Okay. So as I'm placing my hands, I'm placing, remember, base of the pointer, base of the thumb, inner wrist, base of the pinky, outer wrist. So those 4 corners of both hands. And notice how my fingers are really gripping the mat, right? If my hands are sort of relaxed, they look like this. That inner hand is lifting up, the fingers are sort of soft. So I want to spread the fingers, press the inside of the hand down, and the base of the knuckles. Now, let's talk about the thumb for a moment. There's a tendency to sort of press the thumb, widen it way out. It's actually more beneficial to have the thumb a little bit closer. So not super wide like that, but in a little bit closer. Okay, here's the first exercise. This is similar to what we just did sitting up. So I call these side rollers. You roll from the base of the pointer and the thumb along the knuckles. The wrist stays lifted. You go to the base of the outer wrist, and then you roll back. The pinky side lifts up. You're rolling along the knuckles. The wrist is staying lifted through this whole movement, fingers spreading out nice and wide. So you can do, with all of these exercises, you can start with 3, 4, 5, build your way up to 10, 15, and you'll really start feeling the difference. Okay, that's side rollers. Next one is heel ups. So we're just going to go straight up and down. Claw the fingers down into the mat, really grip like Spider-Man fingers. Yeah, like not just kind of scratching at the mat, but like Spider-Man hanging off a building fingers. Okay, and then you lift the heel of the hand, and then you press it down. And you lift the heel of the hand, and you press it down. Again, start with 3 to 5, build your way up to 10 to 15. That's heel ups. Next one, I'm going to move a little farther back for so you can see my whole arm. Okay, hang on, I'm going to tilt it actually a little bit more so you get my whole arm in it. Okay. This one, I'll place the hands, and this goes for all of them. If your shoulders are on the tighter side or wrists are on the tighter side, going wider with your hands and turning the hands out a little bit will make all these things a little easier. If not, then you want to keep the crease of your wrist parallel with the short edge of your mat, and the outer shoulder lined up with the center of the wrist when the fingers are pointing forward like this. Okay, this one is just rotation. So you're going to inhale, turn the inner elbow forward, exhale, and rotate the elbows in, and just back and forth like that. The weight's going to shift a little bit in the hands, but I'm really working to try to keep the weight balanced from thumb and pointer to pinky. As the elbows turn in, the pinky's when I want to get lighter. I'm pressing it down. As the elbows turn forward, the opposite. I'm going to press to the pointer and the thumb. Okay, so again, maybe 5 to 10 of those. Okay, next one, called the walrus rock. So you turn your hands out, and again, going wider will make this a little bit easier on the wrist. Going narrower will bring a little more strength and stretch. Claw the fingers down, and then it's just a gentle rocking side to side. So press to one side and then to the other. Notice my fingers really gripping down as my weight comes to that side. right? I'm not just collapsing my weight into my wrist. I'm trying to let my fingers do some of the work here. Try to move your shoulders more than your hips. Your hips are sort of just coming along for the ride here. Okay. Now, if you need a break at any time, you can come down. This is a nice little wrist release you can do. You can come down like this. Elbows as wide as shoulders. Bring the backs of your hands to the mat. Click the fingernails down. And then make a fist with your hand. And if you've got the flexibility, pull the hands up away from the floor, pressing the wrist down. And then open up, spread the fingers, click the nails down, and then pull the fingers in, make a fist. And just do a couple of those. This builds up the muscles underneath the forearm and just provides a little relief and stretch for the wrist. Okay. At any time, of course, you can also just rest in child's pose and give your hands a break. Okay, we have another couple of rocking exercises. For this one, I'm going to turn sideways. For this one, you want your fingertips pointing at your knees, and you want your knees fairly close to your fingers to start. It's going to be easier on the wrists. And then you're going to rock forward. Again, outer shoulder distance apart is best. You're going to rock forward, and then claw the fingers like crazy, and then send your hips back. And then rock forward, and then claw the fingers like crazy, and rest and bring your hips back. And just like that, a few times. Okay, another rocking one we do with the palms facing up. So again, wider is easier, knees closer is easier, less stretch. Click the fingernails down, start with your knees really close, and then the heels of the wrist will come up a little bit, but press back, try to keep your arms as straight as you can. And then rock forward, give a little stretch, and then come back. So just like that. Back and forth. Fingernails stay pressing down really strongly. Okay, and then the last one with the hands down looks like this. Hands outer shoulder distance apart, wrist creases parallel, 1, 2, 3, 4 corners of the fingers, and then it's just a rock back and forth, just like that. So a little easier as the hips go back, a little more challenging as the wrists go forward. If you're working towards some of the more challenging arm balances, really bringing yourself way forward and clawing is going to help build some of that flexibility into the wrist that some of those more dramatic arm balances do. And even poses like wheel pose or Vidyanarasana, it's going to help with that stuff too. So as far forward as you can, there shouldn't be pain in the wrist. It should feel like a stretch, not pain. Pain tells you you're overdoing it, even though there might be a lot of sensation. We don't want to go to the level of pain. Okay. Last thing, just a little wrist release. It's going to look like this. So you're going to reach, I have my left arm reaching out in front, my fingers spreading out wide. I'm going to go on an angle here, you can see better. And then I'm going to grip my wrist, my left wrist with my right hand. And I'm going to squeeze like crazy with the right hand, bringing the bones of the wrist closer together and then opening up the carpal tunnel where all those nerves pass through to the hand and the fingers. So I'm squeezing the wrist with my right hand. I'm spreading the fingers with my left hand, and then I'm pulling with my right arm. The shoulder will move back. It's almost like I'm trying to slide my right wrist up my arm, but it's not moving. I'm just kind of pulling the bones back, bringing a release into the wrist. Okay, and then other one, squeeze the wrist, hold it tight, spread the fingers of the right hand, pull back, and then almost like I'm trying to slide my wrist, my hand up my arm, up my forearm as I reach my right fingers forward. Okay, good. And then a good shake out. And that's the routine. Namaste.